Hello YouTube and welcome back to UK Highland Photography. I'm Strober and today we're going to be talking about how much money photographers should charge for their work. Now, you have to remember, if you're charging for your photography, then that means you're selling photography, and when you're selling photography, that means you're becoming a salesperson. So let me give you a quick example. Let's say a bride and groom come up to you and they say, hey, we've seen your work, we love it. How much would you charge to photograph our wedding? So the first thing is, they've asked you how much money you charge. But the reality is you don't know. You don't know how much to charge. So what you can do, you can reverse the situation and say, what's the minimum? No, you could reverse the situation and say, how much money have you set aside for your wedding photography budget? And they could say something like £500. Now, as a photographer, we know £500 is not a lot of money for wedding photography. So we could reply with up to, and then the bride and groom will now realise that £500 is actually a very small amount of money, and what you'll find them doing is they'll bump themselves up. So they'll go, oh, up to £1,000. Now they've came up to £1,000. There we go. So now, you as a photographer, you could now turn around and go, oh, well, I charge £800 for my wedding photography. So you see what I'm saying, guys, about being a salesperson when it comes to selling your photography. So there's a few things we have to take into consideration when we're selling our photography. Are we going to be selling our photography as a product individually, or are we going to sell our photography as a service? So let me give you an example. Somebody may come up to you and say, hi, look, my child is having a birthday party in a week's time. Can you photograph it? How much do you charge? Now, we've got to work out how big of a job this is. And then we could turn around and say, like, how many children? 30 children, okay. How long do you want me for? I want you for 1 hour, 30 minutes, yeah, an hour and a half. And then we can turn around and be like, again, we're sales people. We can turn around and go, well, to be honest with you, I have a minimum booking of 2 hours. So you would have to pay me for the full 2 hours because, again, that's my minimum booking and I charge £45 an hour. So you see what I'm saying, guys? You're selling your photography as a service, or you could sell your photography as a product, and you could say, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll photograph your child's birthday for free, but I'll upload them onto the internet, and you basically buy what photograph it is you want. So let's say you're selling the photographs for £5 each. So if she only bought 2 photographs, that's a tenner. But let's say if she bought 50 photographs, you see what I'm saying? More money. If she bought 100 photographs, more money. So that's you selling your photography as a product individually. So moving on, how much value is in the photographs that we're selling? So for example, if you're photographing somebody who's got a newborn baby, to us, there's no sentimental value, but to the mother of that baby and the father of that baby, there's sentimental value in there. Now, I am not saying take advantage of sentimental value. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that you've got to remember sentimental value is a value, and it's something photographers should take into account with regards to pricing up their photography. Because the last thing we as photographers want to do is to be undercutting ourselves. For example, we don't want to photograph a wedding for £500 and then find ourselves taking 1,000 photographs, and then we spend the next 2 days, you know, just flat out on Lightroom and Photoshop editing these photographs, because it works out then that we're on something like £2 an hour. You see what I mean? That's undercutting yourself. So if you take the sentimental value and add that into the equation, then you can work out, well, these photographs are going to last them a lifetime. £500, it is too small. You know, you get me, guys? So remember sentimental value. How much we get paid as photographers, this is my thoughts only, is entirely up to you, okay? It's entirely up to you. Only you know your skills. Some photographers are better than others, so they can demand or ask for more money because their work is in demand. If you're new and you're not into demand, then you can't ask for these top of the range professional prices. You can't do that because your work doesn't back it up. But what you can do is ask for modest payments. Now, again, take into account how big the job is. Take into account the resources you need to use. For example, are you selling hard copies? If you're selling hard copies, like photo prints, then that's paper. You need to cover the cost of paper. If you're selling digital copies, then that's cheaper than selling hard prints. You see what I'm saying? And how much time are you going to be spending behind the scenes? Only you know that. Other photographers can't really give you a price because, again, it's you that knows the price you really want, and it's you that knows what the customer wants, and you've just got to basically work out what you think is a reasonable rate. And guys, good luck with charging customers with your photographs.